Having attended the Kosher Food and Wine Experience by Royal Wine, the annual event just last month, I enjoyed myself as I do. I wrote about it, and one aspect that was different this year versus years past was reducing the event from 6 hours down to just 4 hours, something I wrote about. And in this coming clip, I was tickled, I was flattered that I was not the only one who experienced this, as will be discussed. And there's also an aspect I didn't consider about this time reduction, the hosts cover. So I enjoy this clip.
It was shorter than it has been in the past, and I was not able. I usually try to get to every table and try every single wine. That's the point of going. And I wasn't able to do that. And then as I was attempting to do it, I felt like it's almost a waste to even try that. And you always say that it's a waste to even try that.
Right.
But what other opportunity do we have to taste these wines to even give it a try?
I thought that too. And our friend Drew Kaplan, who writes up his thing's called Jewish Drinking, I'll give him a little plug. I'm actually trying to pull up the thing he wrote. That was his main point, was that it was not long enough. Here it is. Let me see if I can pull up the paragraph he wrote about it.
We were actually talking about that afterwards. I was sitting in the lobby with him, and we were kind of lamenting about the fact that there just wasn't enough time.
Right. So, I guess I had mixed feelings on that idea, but this is what he wrote. He wrote, in addition, no, that's wrong. That's just him talking about how his flight was late. But anyway, I think his point was, I don't have to read the exact thing. I think his point was that, there's not enough time to, I hear both points. I mean, listen, every minute that they're out there costs royal money to run the show. It's more food, it's more wine people go through. They probably have to pay more to the hotel, all that kind of stuff. I get it. But I agree. I mean, even from someone, and I think I make this point all the time, that I go to see the people. I go to see the winemakers. I go to see you. I go to see all the people in the business. But I would love to. I didn't get to some of the tables that I really wanted to get to. Josh Rinderman, our dear friend, I couldn't. He came over to me when I was talking to David Edelman. He wandered over to me. He's like, "When are you coming over?" And I'm like, "I know, I got to get over." Especially because I've been dying to taste his Riesling. I obviously didn't pass by his table at some point. I certainly would have stopped and talked to him. But that just goes to show how much room there was to cover in so little time. The event was 4 hours, right? Does that sound right? It was
4 hours. It was exactly 4 hours. And you and I were there, right? I mean, right at the beginning.
And this year, in addition to, I think last year, we should say, because we haven't mentioned this yet, it was trade only. So it's people that are, affiliated to some degree. There's a bit of a wide spectrum of people get in, but it is. I mean, and it's less people than when they used to do, a lot less people than when they
900 people.
A lot of people.
Still a lot of people.
Never, to their credit, never seemed really crowded. I don't think. I never felt like I couldn't access things. And did you find that? I thought there was not.
I didn't feel crowded, but I did feel for these winemakers who spend a lot of time, energy, and money to come in I felt like they were just trying to go on to the next one, and get FaceTime in front of every person, because it was trade only, and a lot of the people that were coming over to the table were people that really mattered to them, and I felt for them like they couldn't get enough time. Like here, I was having a really great conversation with one of the winemakers. He's like, and it's so politely, "I'm so sorry, but like I need to speak to this person." Like, so they and I understand that there's this kind of like, and you honor that and respect that being there, knowing that they only have a limited amount of time and that they need to get to as many people as possible.
Right. Which is, I mean, on my side, I felt that. I was like, there's so many people I wanted to see. And the truth is that year after year, I go back and there are more people that I know and there are more people that I want to see. And I just didn't, the time was, I think it's easy for us to say that, I think, but I think I would love another 2 hours to that. I love the 6 hour thing. And there are people that come for 2-3 hours and leave. Not everyone is you and I who want to stay there to every second of the event. But once I'm in there, I love it. And I really, I'll tell you this year, I went right into the way they separate it, as they did the previous couple times, at least. At the New York one, was they split the Israel side, which is about, it's not half of the wines being served, but maybe it's like 30-40% of the wines. They split that into one side hall, and then there's a hall separating it, and then another ballroom is the rest of the world. I spent at least the first 2 to 2.5 hours on the Israel side, really because I really, there were wines that I wanted to taste on that side, and there were people that I hadn't seen since before the war started, and I really wanted to catch up with some of those. Some of those people are my favorite people in the world, and it was so good to see them, and I really spent a lot of time in there. So it was by the time I got to the rest of the world side, I was already running so behind, which is why I didn't really get to spend time with like someone like Josh. But there were so many wines I wanted to try that I didn't get to.